Hello everyone, TheSkilledRoy here, back with another Legends of Runeterra video. And today we actually have a video on Annie, who's finally here for Legends of Runeterra. She was obviously leaked, unfortunately, a little early, but I'm really excited to sort of see what she sort of has coming into the game. It seems most likely that she's going to be based on Jhin, so let's hope that she brings the package together. Alright, here we go,
It's playtime!
Okay, new voice actress, alright. Okay, into Noxus, of course.
What good's power if you're not gonna use it?
Come out, wherever.
Okay, so Annie is a 1 mana 0/2, okay. Attack, I deal 2 damage to my blocker. If it's dead or gone, I deal 2 damage to the enemy nexus instead. So this is actually really interesting. So this essentially means that like Annie attacks as a 1 mana 2/2 quick attack, which is pretty insane. But the downside of it, of course, is that Annie will not be able to block well either, right? So interesting. Okay, let's see how this goes here.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
It's Mr. Kythero! Kai.
It's Kythera, Annie. Hey, Tibbers.
I want to play!
Alright, going for the attack here.
This way.
Okay, seems solid. So that gets added to the stack. They block, of course. You use block, and then the 2 damage goes to Nexus instead. Damn.
What's your
Alright, cool.
favorite aminal?
That's actually really good. It lets you threaten a lot with her. Nice, okay. Nice. Pretty simple,
Look at this reality! Look how sparkly!
Alright, let's do this. Alright, Ravenbloom Conservatory. Countdown 10, create a tie bulk in hand. I advance 1 round for each fast spell, slow spell, or skill you've played this game. Wait, it's Burning House, guys! Guys, it's Burning House, but like it's done, it's worded properly. That's really funny. So I assume Tybokus is to be the burning demon then. Alright, let's do this.
Burn school down. Now I want to burn you.
Alright. Oh, there's Tibbers.
Oh,
yo, he looks sick! Oh, nice. You know, it's not a bad level up. Wait, sorry. When I level up, I create Tibbers in hand, attack deal 3 instead of 2. Okay, makes sense. Oh, no, and you stun it. Wait, that's crazy. Wait, that's actually really good. I mean, you actually can never block her? And if you ever give Annie Overwhelm, she's gonna do true damage, essentially? That's... Yikes, damn, that's actually really good, especially as a 1-drop? Damn.
If they don't break, they'll burn.
Alright, Tybulk is a 6 mana 6/6 with Overwhelm. When I'm summoned, grant allies everywhere +1/+0 for the rest of the game, and all of your spells and skills deal 1 extra damage? Holy shit, that's scary, dude. That's actually insanely scary with Jhin, because Jhin has a skill that does extra bonus damage every 4 spells. That's actually crazy, dude. Holy shit. I just cast mine. And so even if they have a way to keep their butterfly alive there, they wouldn't be able to block. That's insane.
Did you like that, Tibbers? Wasn't it fun?
Okay.
There's
We didn't see
nothing a
Tibbers
good
yet,
giggle
so
can't fix.
I'm a little scared, honestly. Okay. Disintegrate? Wait, what does that do? Okay, show me, okay. 2 mana, fast speed, pick a unit. The next time it takes damage this round, kill it. Okay, so it's like Scorch, but it's like Scorched Earth, but you have to cast it before the damage happens. That's kind of cute. Alright, interesting.
Billowing, beckoning.
Don't make me hurt you.
Yeah, the sheer amount of stuns and damage you'll be able to do as Jhin would be pretty freaking crazy,
They
dude.
all fall down.
This is great, yeah, that's fine. Oh, there's Tibbers, he's 6 mana.
Don't be scared, Tibbers.
6 mana. Play stun an enemy and then deal 2 to all stunned or damaged enemies. What the fuck? Yo, that's actually kind of crazy though. Especially with Jhin and Annie who get so many free stuns, you're actually just gonna blow up the opponent. They're like literally going to detonate and there's nothing they can do about it. That's kind of insane. Jesus.
They won't hurt you.
Yeah, because right here, watch, it'll activate the stack, Jhin will stun, and then immediately Tibbers will stun.
I want to play a
Oh my
game of
God.
hide and burn.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you literally just sweep people, like, it's insane.
Stay in school, Annie. You'll make something of yourself yet.
You got a
Stay in
weird
school.
eye, Mr. Jhin. Smells like burning.
Damn. All right, and then there's all the cards. I think that's it. Damn, there's some crazy stuff you can do with Annie Jin. I think Annie Jin might actually be insane. Just because of how much value you get for having Jin in your hand. And, like, of course, Annie curves perfectly 1, 2, 3. And then, obviously, you have Jin on your 4s. That's... Wow. That's actually kind of insane. That's actually kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. That is, like, a little ridiculous. Okay, the first new card for Annie's support cards is Mana Soul Student. The 3 mana 3/2, each round the first time you play a fast spell, slow spell, or skill, I play Magic Embers, which of course is just deal 1 bonus damage to enemy nexus. So I think it's pretty obvious you're trying to be playing this card with cards like Jin, which is already giving you a bunch of bonus damage for every 4 spells or skills you play. And I really actually kind of like this design. I really do like the idea of sort of pushing us more towards fast and slow spells rather than just rapid firing someone out with burst triggers, right? So I think that's a really cool idea, and there's a lot of really nice things you can do with this and just sort of whittling down your opponent. So in general, a 3 mana 3/2 is pretty under par for most aggro decks. Obviously there's quite a bit of stronger options out there from like 5/4s or 4/3s with Overwhelm and so on. So the real value of this card is going to come from slightly more burn focused or slower strategies that are intending to win more through attrition and just dealing a lot of damage over time, rather than, say, killing them on turn 5. And in that respect, it seems fine, because again, it is limited every single time you play a single spell per turn, so you can't like rapid fire it like Ezreal and just absolutely destroy someone. That said, I think Mana Soul Student is a really cool card, and I think I could see it being run in a couple certain situations, especially with how many other fast, slow skill support cards that are coming out here at the same time. Overall, not a bad card, but I could definitely see it being on the lower end of priority in a deck. Next up is my Boy Spellslinger, 2 mana 1/1 spider card. Play stun an enemy, or if it's already stunned, deal 2 to it instead. And obviously has Fearsome already built in. So this is actually a really interesting card. Obviously, the inherent comparison that has a lot of similarities to this card is going to be Arachnoid Horror, which is a 2 mana 3/2 that it doesn't have any other abilities besides being a spider and fearsome. So you are paying 3 stats for the play effect. And to be fair, it is a pretty good play effect, especially in situations where you have a really wide fearsome board and you're looking to just stun one of their big targets so they can't block you efficiently. And I think it does a pretty good job at that sort of situation. The additional effect of stunning, doing additional 2 damage if it's already stunned, that's not going to be as common, I don't think. It's going to be useful, don't get me wrong, and it's especially going to be useful in things like Jin decks and stuff like that where you have the ability to get it more frequently. But as of right now, it's not something I'm as excited for. So as a 2 mana 1/1 that stuns something immediately when it enters play, I think that's pretty decent, especially in a more of an aggressive spider deck. I could see you running 1 or 2 of these that, first of all, count towards your spider level ups for release, but get bonus damage from your skitterers, as well as stunning the biggest target on the enemy's board. Like, I think it's a pretty solid card overall. I expect to see it be played occasionally. Alright, next up is the Ravenbloom Conservatory, which is a 1 mana landmark with countdown 10, create a Tybulk in hand. I advance 1 round for each fast spell, slow spell, or skill you've played this game, which, as we can sort of tell, is honestly quite trivial. Either you can play this on turn 1 if you don't happen to have your Annie, or you can save it in the late game and just sort of drop it and immediately play a Tybulk right afterwards. And that's only a 7 mana card for a 6/6 Overwhelm. When I'm summoned, grant allies everywhere, +1/+0, and for the rest of the game, all of your spells and skills deal 1 extra damage. That is pretty ridiculous, I'm not going to lie. So I think Tybulk is obviously kind of just how you win the game. You're gonna cast a bunch of spells and such in the early skills in the early game, eventually build up enough to really crack your conservatory, play Tybulk, and then you're going to use the last little bit of reach, probably using various burn spells and Noxus, to just absolutely blow up your opponent. Like, your decimates are going to be doing 5 damage, plus your Jin triggers, which are going to do an additional 2 damage. Like, Jesus Christ, the damage you're going to do is kind of ridiculous in this deck. So I think there's some really cool things here. I'm really excited to sort of see how it sort of comes together. Cards like this are good if they are consistent. The biggest question is going to be, how consistent can we make the Jin Annie deck where you're constantly getting those activations on spells and skills that this is actually relatively easy to do. And I think it's doable. I think it's very doable, especially because of how Jin and his sort of, obviously, his keyword works. His ability works. So I think this is actually a really good card, and I think you're going to expect to see this quite a bit, especially because of how it works, you're going to be able to play this multiple times, and then each time it's going to get more insane. Like, if you resolve 2 of these, like, holy shit, man, you're going to just absolutely destroy your opponent. And like a 7 mana 6/6 with these stats, sorry, with its ability attached, because remember it also gives +1 attack to everything too, I fail to see how this card is going to be bad. Like, the only way this card is bad is if it's inconsistent and you can't get to countdown 10 reliably. I don't think that's possible. I think you're definitely going to do it, especially because Jin is countdown, he needs 12 triggers, and this one needs 10. So, completely doable. I think this card is going to be insane, for sure. Alright, and last up is the Prefect, the 3 mana 1/3 with Overwhelm. When you play a fast spell, slow spell, or skill, grant me +1/+0. So this one's interesting. So, right, obviously the initial comparison is going to be to Iron Ballista. Iron Ballista is, of course, a 3 mana 4/3 innately that has Overwhelm. So if you're playing a deck that doesn't run very many spells, you're going to want to play Ballista instead. But if you are running a deck that has a lot of fast spells, slow spells, and skills, is the Prefect good enough for you to run it? And I think that really comes down to consistency and like a critical mass of spells and skills. Because I think this card could be good, so I think in most situations you're going to be slightly worse than a Ballista on the first turn you play the Prefect, presuming that you play like Prefect and then play a skill and then you have an attack skill as well. That's like getting you up to 3/3, and then every turn after that you're many times stronger than a Ballista. So that's not too bad. The biggest issues are going to come from 2 elements. One, the top deck of a Prefect is going to feel pretty bad, because you have to build her back up again, and it doesn't really seem feasible to do that if you're in a top deck mode. And secondly, the second situation is against a deck that has a lot of interaction. You're never going to get to a point where you're able to really get Prefect up to a high enough attack where the opponent won't just be able to remove it. So it's an interesting card. I am curious if it's good enough to see play. I think you're going to need to run this in cards like Bilgewater, where you get more access to more early game skills, like with the sharpshooters and the 1/2 that does 1 damage when you attack there. So I think it's an interesting card. I really would have to sort of see just how more you can do with this, because I think the potential is there. Like, for example, I know people were saying that it should be a 2/3. I think 2/3 would be crazy. That means it would almost always be better than Ballista. So I think the card is interesting. I think we sort of have to see just how the deck lists sort of look like at the very end of it, of like a Jin Annie deck, which is clearly the intended design pair, and sort of see where that sort of looks, and then we'll go from there. Alright, and finally, she's here, Annie, the 1 mana 0/2 with attack. I deal 2 damage to my blocker. If it's dead or gone, I deal 2 damage to the enemy nexus instead. Level up, I've seen you play 6+ fast, slow spells or skills. And obviously she fuels herself to level up, which is incredibly good and extremely strong, especially when you start adding in the fact that Jin can play skills from hand and do a bunch of a variety of other shenanigans as well. Like, there's going to be a lot of really great things you can do with Jin and Annie, specifically because of how their skill speeds sort of interact with each other. That's going to be, I think, the inherent thing to build right off the bat. But let's explore Annie on her own. Annie is, first of all, going to be insanely difficult for the enemy to deal with in the early game. As a 1 mana 0/2 that has basically super quick attack, you're never going to be able to really realistically kill her easily. There's a lot of really powerful quick attack cards in the early game, like Kennen, for example, that are already difficult to really deal with. The only way you deal with Kennen is typically through pings, right? Like, you ping him down when the opponent doesn't have enough recalls to support him. But for Annie, at 2 HP, there's not really many cards in the game that will allow you to trade into Annie without, like, losing something in the process, right? Like, you're going to be losing mana, you're going to be losing card advantage, something like that to sort of beat Annie out here. I think the only real answer to Annie is going to be things like the Demacian birds that are able to sort of challenge her for free and get the kill. And I think that's Annie's real big risk in those matchups, is going to have to find backup to fight off against, like, the tracker and stuff like that. Then in the level 2 card, we get Tibbers in hand, which we'll look at in a second, but the attack effect changes from dealing 2 damage to dealing 3 damage, and you automatically stun it, essentially meaning that the opponent literally can't fight you at all, because even if they have like a barrier that blocks the damage, they are still getting stunned. The only way to stop it would be to use Spell Shield, which is not really a common mechanic that many regions have access to begin with, so this is very, very good for her. In general, seems really, really strong. I think you're going to do some really cool stuff with this, and say, for example, just like Might as a spell, because you're gonna be able to stun the unit that's blocking you and get your free damage in as well. That seems really good. Overall, Annie seems really solid. But Tibbers, though, Tibbers is a 6 mana 5/5 that is going to have play, stun an enemy, of course, but then it does 2 damage to all stunned or damaged enemies. This card with like things like Lord Broadmane and stuff like that are going to just wipe opponents' boards. You are going to destroy the opponent a lot with this card. Like, it's going to be crazy. Especially if you have the Burning Demon card that gives +1 damage to all of your spells and skills. The combination of pure critical mass you have of pure damage spells is going to let you just absolutely just run over opponents who just have a bunch of mid to small level units. And I think that's the really scary part about Annie, is that like she's not really a true aggro deck, and more so that she's like this sort of burning control deck almost, in a way where you're going to be able to play Jin Annie, just play a bunch of skills, chip out the opponent's life total constantly while applying stuns, while destroying their units pretty reliably. Like, geez, it's going to be pretty good. You're going to be pretty happy with how Jin sort of operates with Annie. You're going to do a lot of really great stuff with the two of them. I think it's more interesting to sort of see how good will Annie be with other cards, like with non-Jin cards, because that's a bit more interesting. Like, maybe do you go P and Z to get all the really strong attack skill effects, or do you go to like Misfortune, for example, to get really, really powerful pre-combat damage? It's a really interesting question. I think Annie is easily one of the more interesting cards we've had for Noxus, so I'm really excited to sort of see this. No more 3-mana quick attacks that do X damage. Like, this is actually a new deck building strategy, and I think that's what's most exciting to me about Annie, is that how exciting she's going to be to sort of like build a deck around her, and probably Jin, let's be honest. But like, I think this is going to be a really cool concept overall, and I'm really, really excited to sort of see how it goes. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. I've been TheSkilledRoy. I'm absolutely super excited for Annie. We got the cards coming out in just about 2 days, with the patch notes coming out tomorrow. Now tomorrow won't be a balance patch, it's just going to be a sort of talking about the content that's coming out with the game, but often they'll reveal some cool new things. And we still have the cards that Jin shot at during the reveal trailer. So there's a lot of really cool things coming up probably tomorrow, and then we have the expansion releasing the day after, so we got a lot of really great stuff to look forward to here. But I think that is going to be it for me. Thank you so much everyone for watching. If you want to come by to the Discord and hang out and discuss all these cards, a link will be in the description below. Otherwise though, I will see you all next time. Peace out.